Welcome to Dragon Horde Gaming, and today we'll be opening up second box of Strixhaven Set Boosters. Alright. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. Ifrit Flame Painter, cost 4, 3 generic and a red. Double strike. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may cast target instant and sorcery card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. The spell will be put into the graveyard, exile it instead. Thrill of Possibilities. And a foil mage duel. And a jubilant mascot for our list. Oops. Ingenious Mastery. Costs X and 2 generic and a blue. You may pay 2 generic and blue rather than pay this spell's mana cost. If the 2 generic and a blue cost was paid, you draw 3 cards, an opponent creates 2 treasure tokens, and then they scry 2. If the cost wasn't paid, you draw X cards. Whirlwind Denial. Foil Archway Commons. And a Elemental Token. Put that in the wrong spot. Witherboom Command. Cost 2, a black and a green. Choose 2. Target player mills 3 cards, then you return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. Destroy target non-creature, non-land. So I'm guessing this... Oh, sorry. Non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Target creature gets -3, -1 until end of turn. Target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Velatine Dean of the Vein. Cost 1 black. Menace lifelink. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. When you do, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 1/1 black-green pest creature token with, when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. Listy? I don't know. Dean of the Root. Costs 4, 2 generic, 2 green. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain trample until end of turn. Abundant Harvest. Choose land or non-land. Reveal cards on the top of your library. Until you reveal a card, the chosen kind. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is the card that's going to be in Modern Horizons 2. And I think this is the first time I pulled this one, so nice. Necrotic Fumes foil and treasure token. Shrine Shadow Snarl. Enters the battlefield. You may reveal plains or a swamp card from your hand. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. Jadzi, Oracle of Acavios. Mythic number 1. Cost 8, 6 generic and 2 blue. Discard a card, return it to its owner's hand. Magecraft, when you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it by paying 1 rather than paying its mana cost. If it's a land card, put it into the battlefield. Village Rites. Foil Creative Outburst. Plains. Foil. Vine Glimmer Snarl. Enters battlefield, you may reveal a Forest on Island card from your hand. If you don't, it enters battlefield tapped. Taps for green and blue. God's Willing. Elemental Masterpiece. Inquisition of Kozilek art card. Plains. I'm messing up my piles over here. Alright. Rushed Rebirth. Cost 2. Black and a green. Choose target creature. When that creature dies this turn, search your library for a creature card with lesser mana value. Put it in the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Defiant Strike. Foil Rare. Pestilent Cauldron. Cost 3, 2 generic and a black. Discard a card. Tap, discard a card. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. When this creature dies, you gain 1 life. Pay 1 and tap. Each opponent mills cards equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. Pay 4, tap. Exile 4 target cards from a single graveyard. Draw a card. Restorative Burst. Cost 5, 3 generic and 2 green. Return up to 2 target creatures, land and or planeswalker cards from your graveyard to your hand. Each player gains 4 life. X-Style Restorative Burst. Alright. Amiiboy Changeling List. Quill Command, costs 4, 2 generic, a white and a red, black. Choose 2, target creature gets +3, +3 and gains flying until end of turn. Return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Target player draws a card and loses 1 life. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. Cayenne, Dina's Substance. Cost 3, 2 generic and a green. Tap, exile top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it in your hand. Otherwise, put a study counter on it. Pay 5, 4 generic and a green. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put a +1/+1 on it for each different mana value among non-land cards you own in exile with study counters on them. Imbraham, Dina Theory. Cost 4, 2 generic, 2 blue. Flying. Pay X and 2 blue. Tap, exile the top X cards of your library. Put study counters on each of them. Then you may put a card you own in exile with a study counter on it into your hand. Strategic Planning. Professor of Zumacy. Foil and Inkling token. Teachings of the Archaics. Cost 3, 2 generic and a blue. If an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw 2 cards. Draw 3 cards instead if an opponent has at least 4 more cards in hand than you. These cards have got a weird texture to them, a little rough. Fine Glimmer Snarl, we went over that one already. We got a Dark Ritual, and a foil Introduction to Prophecy. No token this time. Alright, we got a signed card. This is Spectre of the Fens. Alright. Multiple choice. Cost X in blue. If X is 1, scry 1, then draw a card. If X is 2, you may choose a player. They return a creature they control to their owner's hand. If X is 3, create a 4/4 blue-red elemental creature token. If X is 4 or more, do all of the above. Adventurous Impulse. Brackish Trudge. Pest token. Axis Tunnel. Oh wait, that's uncommons. I'm not reading the uncommons. Devastating Mastery. Cost 6, 2 generic and 4 white. You may pay 2 generic and 2 white rather than pay this spell's mana cost. If the 2 and 2 white cost was paid, an opponent chooses up to 2 non-land permanents they control and returns them to their owner's hand. Destroy all non-land permanents. Claim the Firstborn, and a foil Lash of Menace. Malice. Auric Lore Mage. Cost 4, 2 generic and 2 black. Tap, search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. If it ends a sorcerer card, put a 1/1 counter on Auric Lore Mage. Inquisition of Kozilek. The foil, Defend the Campus. Oh, we got a list card here. Alright. Dream Strix. Cost 3, 2 generic and blue. Flying. When it becomes a target of a spell, sacrifice it. When it dies, learn. Negate. Arrogant Poet. And a Seething Song. Okay. Prismari Command. Cost 3, a generic blue and a red. Choose 2. It deals 2 damage to any target. Target player draws 2 cards, then discards 2 cards. Target player creates a treasure token. Destroy target artifact. Avalda, Dean of Perfection. Costs 3, 2 generic and a blue. Tap, you may exile an instant sorcery card from your hand. Put 3 hone counters on it. It gains, at the beginning of your upkeep, if this card is in exile, remove a hone counter from it. Then when the last hone counter is removed from the card, if it's exiled, you may cast it. It costs 4 less to cast this way. Almost. What is it? I can't remember. Nisari, Dean of Expression. Cost 5, 3 generic and 2 red. Beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Till end of turn, you may cast spells from among them, those exiled cards, and you may spend mana as those mana of any color to cast those spells. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, put a 1/1 counter on Nisari, Dean of Expression. Duress. Flunk. Another list card. Wandrix. Art card. Ifrit Flame Painter. Okay, we already did this one. Weather the Storm. Spine Karok and Patron Wizard. Cost 3. Blue. Tap and untap wizard you control. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. Ooh, that sounds pretty good for a wizard tribal deck. I'm gonna have to look that up later, how valuable that card is. Necroblossom Snarl. It enters battlefield, reveal a swamp or forest from your hand. If you don't, it enters battlefield taps for black and green. Opt. Foil Dream Strix. We already went over that one. Lower Hold Command. Cost 5, 3 generic red and white. Choose 2. Create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Creature control get +1/+0 and gain indestructible and haste until end of turn. Lower Hold Command deals 3 damage to any target. Target player gains 3 life. Sacrifice a permanent, then draw 2 cards. Crooks of Fate. Miracle Transformation foil. Alright. Harness Infinity. Cost 7. 1 generic, 3 black, 3 green. Exchange your hand and graveyard. Exile Harness Infinity. Infuriate. Owling Shield Mage. And a young Pyromancer. Confront the Past. Cost X in a black. Choose 1. Return target Planeswalker card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Remove twice X loyalty counters from target Planeswalker an opponent controls. Ecological Appreciation. Cost X and 2 generic and green. Search your library and graveyard for up to 4 creature cards with different names and that each have mana value X or less and reveal them. An opponent chooses cards. An opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Shuffle the chosen cards into your library, put the rest on the bottom, into the battlefield. Exile Ecological Appreciation. Selfless Glyph Weaver. Cost 3, 2 generic and white. Exile it. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Deadly Vanity. Cost 8, 5 generic and 3 black. Choose a creature or planeswalker, then destroy all other creatures and planeswalkers. Divine Gambit and a foil Village Rites. Semester's End. Cost 4, 3 generic and white. Exile any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of the next end step, return each of them to the battlefield under its owner's control. Each of them enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on if it's a creature, an additional loyalty counter on if it's a planeswalker. Snakeskin Veil and Quintoris Field Historian. Another Semester's End, a Growth Spiral, and a Rise of Exodus foil. Open, please. Garbage. Plarg, Dean of Chaos. Cost 2, generic and red. Tap, discard a card, draw a card. Pay 5, 4 generic and a red. Tap, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal non-legendary and non-land card with mana value 3 or less. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put all revealed cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. Augusta, Dean of Order, costs 3, 2 generic and a red. Other tapped creatures you control get +1/+0. Other untapped creatures you control get +0/+1. Whenever you attack, untap each creature you control, then tap any number of creatures you control. That is a very confusing card with its abilities. Cultivate Elemental Summonings. Or Summoning. Blade Historian, cost 4, hybrid red-white. Attacking creatures controlled have double strike. Baleful Mastery, cost 4, 3 generic and a black. You may pay 1 generic and black rather than paying this spell's mana cost. If the 1 generic and a black cost was paid, an opponent draws a card. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Mana Tithe, and a foil acceptance letter. Cody Voracious Codex. Costs 3 generic. You can't cast permanent spells. Pay 4, tap, add 1 of every color. When you cast your next spell this turn, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile an instant sorcery card with lesser mana value. To end the turn, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put each other card exiled this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. And we got a Eliminate and a Foil Inkling Summoning. We have the Lorehold Dragon art card, an Island Foil. Frostboil Snarl. Enters the battlefield, reveal an island or mountain from your hand. If you don't, it enters taps for blue and red. Archmage Emeritus, cost 4, 2 generic and 2 blue. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, draw a card. Harmonize. Foil Calling Ritual, cost 4, 2 generic, black and green. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Add black and green for each permanent destroyed this way. Blex Vexing Pest, costs 3, 2 generic and a green. Other pests, bats, insects, snakes, and spiders you control get +1/+1. When it dies, you gain 4 life. Search for Blex, cost 4, 2 generic and 2 black. Look at the top 5 cards of your library and put any number of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You lose 3 life for each card you put into your hand this way. Putrefy. Decisive Denial. Cost 2, green and a blue. Choose 1. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 3. Oh, that's an uncommon, not a rare. I thought it was a rare. We got another list card here. Open, please. And they signed whatever card that is. Mountain. Academic Probation, cost 2, generic and white. Choose non-land card name. Opponents can't cast spells with the chosen name until end of turn. Or choose target non-land permanent till your next turn. You can't attack. It can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. Verdant Mastery costs 6, 5 generic and green. You may pay 3 generic and green rather than pay this spell's cost. Search your library for up to 4 basic land cards, reveal them, put one of them into the battlefield tap under an opponent's control. If the cost was paid, put 2 of them in the battlefield tapped under your control and the rest in your hand. Then shuffle. Oh, yeah, that's for Avenger's Impulse. Session Scram Cram Session Simian Spirit Guide. Alright. Alright. Tempted by the Auric. Cost 4, generic and 3 blue. For each opponent gain control up to 1 target creature or planeswalker that player controls with mana value 3 or less. Shali, Dean of Radiance, cost 2, generic and white. Flying Vigilance. Tap, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control that enter the battlefield under your control this turn. Ambrose, Dean of Shadow, cost 4, 2 generic and 2 white. Put a 1 counter on another target creature, then it deals 2 damage to that creature. Whenever a creature you control with a 1 counter on it dies, draw a card. Claim the Firstborn. Teach by example. Token. Sedgemoor Witch, cost 3, 2 generic and a black. Menace. Ward for pay 3 life. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with. When this creature dies, you gain 1 life. Ephemerate. Tunkard Inkcaster. A tenured Inkcaster, I'm sorry. Alright. Full art Falcomachus Lorehold, cost 7, 5 generic, a red and a white. Flying Vigilance Haste. When it attacks, look at the top 7 cards of your library, and you may cast an instant sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to Lorehold's power from among them without paying their mana cost. Put the rest of them on the bottom of your library in a random order. Strategic Planning. And a foil Lightning Helix. That's gotta be worth something. Treasure token. Alright. Got like 3 mythics there. Not very many mythics, huh? Quandrix's Command. We got all the commands. Okay. Choose 2, return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from the graveyard into their library. Cultivate. Spectre of the Finns. Alright, well, that was the opening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like, share, comment, subscribe. Good luck in your openings, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.